All right, folks. My quick thoughts before we bring in Senator Blackburn. With all the hoopla reporting of the presidential visits to the Texas border, I haven't seen any specific references yet to two very important laws passed by Congress and signed by other presidents that will go a long way towards solving Joe Biden's catastrophic open border policy and the roughly 10 million illegals who have entered our country. All right, take a listen. First, something called Section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act, which gives the president authority, and I will quote, to suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens, end quote. It's actually similar to President Trump's Title 42, but it's broader than public health emergencies. Now, second point, the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996, which added Section 287G to the Immigration and Nationality Act. And the gist of this amendment to the Immigration and Nationality Act is that it authorized U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to delegate to state and local law enforcement officers the authority to perform specified immigration officer functions under the agency's direction and oversight. What's more, 287G gives ICE and local law enforcement partners to identify and remove incarcerated criminal non-citizens, to protect the homeland through the arrest and removal of non-citizens who undermine the safety of our nation's communities and the integrity of U.S. immigration laws. Now, I'm going through all this because Joe Biden, and for that matter, any other president, has the legal authority to stop illegal immigrants right at the border and the legal authority to deport illegals who are criminals. They may be in sanctuary city, but they could still be deported. These bills would override sanctuary cities, and they would open the door to a massive deportation of illegals working with the local police and with ICE. Now, this is essentially what former President Trump wants, and he couldn't be any clearer about it. He wants to go back to building a wall, remain in Mexico, Title 42, and the policy of catch and deport. Mr. Trump wants to mount a national campaign with all the local police authorities and all of law enforcement to deport the criminals. And by the way, Joe Biden's phony border bill not even asks if illegals coming into this country were criminals in their own country. And unfortunately, we're finding out there's plenty of that. Hence, the terrible tragedy of Laken Riley and many others, absolute tragedies. Now, in his visit to Brownsville, all Biden could do is attack Republicans and push his spending bill, which would solve nothing regarding illegal immigration. Biden didn't announce any executive actions, and those are actions that are fully legal, as mentioned in the legislative acts that I referenced earlier. Mr. Trump, on the other hand, made it perfectly clear that he would use his congressionally mandated executive power to once again close the border and go after the criminals let loose inside this country. That is what the 45th president refers to when he talks about illegal migrant crime. And ironically, down there in Eagle Pass, where Mr. Trump visited, Texas Governor Greg Abbott's razor wire fence barricades have been working and slashing the number of illegals coming across. There's a lesson in that. There's a lesson in following the law. Joe Biden's a hopeless open border man. He wants to call them newcomers. What does that tell you? Maybe it tells you everything you need to know. It's been a catastrophic situation for America, and Donald Trump has plenty of legal executive authority to end this mess. I just tried to clarify all that. Those laws are for real.